Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my family free culinary services for a party? Hi, I'm Rachel and welcome to Snacks and Scandals, where snacks meet Reddit story scandals. Today's episode has to do with family drama. We've all been there. We've all witnessed it. We've all been a part of it. And to go along with our theme of family drama, we've got some hot chips to go along with the spice of the family drama. We have some Trader Joe's Ghost Pepper Potato Chips, and these were actually purchased for me by my sister Melanie. And these are some Cheetos Flamin' Hot Dill Pickle Crunchy Cheetos, and these were bought for me from my brother-in-law. So both family members have bought me these, so I think it's a perfect tie-in for today's episode snack. But before we dive into our snack, we're going to get into our first story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my family free culinary services for a party? I, 22-year-old male, am a trained chef and recently graduated from a course in culinary school. It was a bit expensive and my aunt and mom contributed to help me pay the fee there. Relevant later. Ever since I finished and started to use my skills to earn some cash, my family has been treating me as some personal chef, which I didn't mind at all at first. It started small, helping out at small family gatherings, giving tips on recipes, but now it seems I'm actually expected to be doing real loads of work for free. Last week, my aunt asked me to cater my cousin's engagement party, which she invited 50 plus people, which was wild as she just approached me while casually saying other professional chefs are too expensive for her. When I said I couldn't do it for free, she acted shocked and said, "We are family, and you wouldn't have this opportunity if I didn't invest in your skills." So she went and spread the word around on how I refused to help her, and some uncles and cousins are telling me how I'm sort of greedy and I should use the opportunity to repay the favor she did for me. I told them I love cooking, but it's my job now and I can't work for free. Now they're calling me selfish altogether. Am I the a-hole? Well, where is it going to end? Repay the favor? Where does that favor end? There are people out there who are like this, and any sort of help they give you comes as with a leash. You are expected to repay the favor. So this guy is in a little bit of a difficult situation because his mom and aunt did help contribute. He said contribute. They didn't pay for the whole thing, but they contributed. So he is kind of in a tough spot. So I'm curious to know what you think he should do, but let's get into some comments. Not the a-hole, but pay back your mom and aunt what they contributed ASAP, as they viewed it as an investment that they would receive perpetual dividends on. Turn it into a loan you repay in full to cut that off. If you leave it, they'll hold it over your head forever. And like I said, there are those family members and just people in general who are like that. Not the a-hole, just because she helped you pay for your training doesn't make her your personal servant. If she was hoping to gain something out of her charity, then it's not really charity. And for her to think that she can just invite 50 plus people to an event and expect her nephew to do all of the catering for this is really quite unreasonable. I mean, maybe a family gathering, but not a whole event. Another person writes, not the a-hole. She's asking you for product, time, and labor. She should be paying you. Even if it wasn't a standard rate, she should have offered to pay you. Not that you have to, but if you want to smooth things over, I'd agree to make the dessert and a batch cocktail, so as long as she supplies everything or reimburses you for any ingredients you bought. Now that's a good idea. Offer to just make the dessert maybe, or do the cocktails. Another person writes, not the a-hole. Your family is not being fair here. If you pay for someone's schooling, it's either A, a gift, no repayment is expected, or B, a loan, repayment is expected, and this was made clear to the person borrowing. What it's definitely not is right to free services from that person whenever they demand it. Not the a-hole. Pay your aunt back and then she won't have anything to try and guilt you with anymore. But she doesn't sound to me like she'll probably accept the payment. Let's read one final comment. Not the a-hole. They helped you get to school by helping you pay your fees. That's a one-time thing, not a lifetime obligation for you to give free time and labor every time someone has a gathering. Find out exactly how much each person contributed to your schooling and pay them back. Then your debt to them is repaid and they will have no reason to expect you to continuously repay their contribution fee forever. And the same goes for anyone else who contributed to your schooling. Then no one will be able to bully you into giving free services. You won't owe them anything. Yeah, I have some things that I have family members who think automatically that I would just give them a discount for, and that's just not how things work. I have to pay for these things, and so I need to be compensated in order to pay for things on my end. So now that we've read our first story, let's get into these chips. And I'm gonna start with the Flamin' Hot Dill Pickle Cheetos. Okay, I do smell dill pickle in there for sure. It doesn't smell that spicy, but I've had Flamin' Hot Cheetos before and I know it's gonna be spicy. Okay, there's the Flamin' Hot. Woo! A little bit more flaming than I remember. The dill pickle is there, but it is pretty subtle. I like it though. And we've tried dill flavored things before on this channel. And sometimes the dill has tasted like ranch, but these don't taste like ranch at all. They do taste like dill pickled Flamin' Hot Cheetos. So to find out my overall thoughts, you'll have to wait till the very end. And now for our second story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go on a family trip after my sister called me the family failure? So I, 25-year-old female, have always had a bit of a rocky relationship with my older sister, 27 female. She's always been the golden child in our family. Straight A's, great job, married with kids, you get the idea. Meanwhile, I took a different path. I struggled through college, jumped between jobs, and am currently working a retail job while trying to figure out my career. Not perfect, but I'm doing my best. Last week, we had a family dinner where my parents announced they wanted to take the whole family on a vacation to celebrate their anniversary. It sounded nice until my sister started joking about how she hopes I can actually afford to take time off. She then followed it up by saying, "It's okay, we all know you're the family failure, but at least you're fun to have around." Everyone laughed. I awkwardly smiled, but inside I was done. This isn't the first time she's made comments like that, but it hit differently this time. After the dinner, I told my parents I wasn't comfortable going on the trip. They tried to brush it off as my sister just joking, but I told them I am tired of being disrespected. Now my whole family is upset with me. My sister texted me saying I'm being dramatic and that I'm ruining the trip for everyone. My parents said they understand I'm hurt, but I should come and not let her get to me. I really don't want to go, but now I feel guilty for upsetting everyone. Am I the a-hole for saying no to the trip? No, and everybody is really quite insensitive to the OP because they're basically telling her to just get over it, and the sister didn't even apologize. She just says, "Oh, you're being dramatic. Move on." No apology, nothing. So no, she's not being the a-hole. Everybody is in her family is quite insensitive and rude. So let's read some comments. Gosh, Mom and Dad, I'd come on the trip, but I'm such a failure that I'd probably ruin it for everyone. I'll skip it so you can bask in the glow of your non-failure children. Have fun. Send a postcard if you remember that I matter. Toodles. How does that famous saying go? Something like, if you never complain, they'll take your pain and say you wanted it. Your sister has a case of toxic entitlement. Your parents may not get it, the rest of your family may not get it, but your peace is worth more than all of them. Don't accept their judgment either. You've succeeded in not being an a-hole. That's more than any of them can say. Well, sister needs to apologize, and parents need to look themselves in the mirror and wonder why they are so crappy that they didn't stand up for their other daughter. Yeah, no kidding. One person comments, I take the free trip and just make a point of pretending sister doesn't exist for the whole time. Not going is cutting off your nose to spite your face. Why isn't the sister apologizing? I would go, take the free trip, and do nothing with them. And now let's read one final comment. No is a complete sentence. Your sister sounds emotionally abusive and your parents are enabling her. Don't let them put this on you, not the a-hole, unless you give in and let them stomp on you some more. So I agree. I don't think that the OP here was the a-hole. I think her family really sucks. And with that, let's get into our next snack, our Trader Joe's Ghost Pepper Potato Chips. These are lattice cut kettle cooked. I'm a little worried that these are gonna be way spicier than the Cheetos. Very crunchy. I'm not getting any heat so far. Where's the ghost pepper? I don't get any heat. The only thing that these are bringing are some super crunch. But these are not spicy at all. They're pretty tasty. I think that they have a good flavor otherwise. Now that we have finished our non-spicy ghost pepper chips, let's get into our final story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my niece the porcelain doll my mother left for her? My niece, Jay, a 10-year-old female, was the only granddaughter when my mother died in 2020. When she died, she wanted my niece to have her porcelain doll collection, which she had around 6 dolls. These porcelain dolls were around when I was a child, and I have memories of getting in trouble for playing with them. They were absolutely beautiful. Well, when my mother died, I, 29-year-old female, decided to keep one doll. I know it wasn't left to me, but I felt like they meant more to me than they could to my niece. I contemplated giving it back to her when she was old enough to appreciate it. We're from Louisiana and Hurricane Laura hit. When we evacuated, I took the doll with me because I knew it was sentimental and irreplaceable. My niece, however, left all of the remaining 5 dolls to get ruined in the hurricane because she left them in the house where they got ruined. My twin sister, Jay's mom, thinks it's only fair that I give Jay the doll. I kept safe because, after all, it was left for her. My argument is that if I would have given her the doll, it would have gotten ruined with the other ones because she didn't care enough about them to take them with her. Fast forward, we are now in 2025 and I have a daughter of my own. I 100% believe if my mom would have known she was going to have another granddaughter, she would have left the doll to her. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, in this case, this aunt, how do you expect a 10-year-old child who is evacuating a hurricane with her parents to grab 5 porcelain dolls when your life is on the line? Like, what in the world? She's not going to have the presence of mind to know to grab 5 porcelain dolls. Like, you grabbed one. Good on you. That's on you. So I think that the aunt is the a-hole for doing that. But I do agree that if the grandmother knew she was going to have another granddaughter, that she would have wanted a porcelain doll or 2 to go to her other granddaughter. So in that case, I think it's okay for her to keep it. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong answer. Is it the wrong answer? I think it's okay for her to keep it, to give it to her daughter. But then the niece did know the grandma. I don't know. I'm torn. I want to know what you guys think. So I'm not sure what to do in this case. Let's read some comments. You're the a-hole. I can't believe you're holding against your niece that she left the dolls during a hurricane. Do you think someone that young would be thinking of the dolls when something that scary is going on? You're in the wrong for keeping the doll to begin with when you knew your mom wanted your niece to have them all. And you're a grown adult. You know it was wrong, but you still did it anyways. If you decide to keep it for your daughter, you'll most likely face a lot of backlash from your family for doing so. Yeah, why did she even have the doll in the first place? You're the a-hole. The doll is not yours to keep, period. Also, hang on, your niece is 10, right? Laura happened in 2020. You're really trying to justify yourself by blaming a 6-year-old for not taking her dolls with her. of her not caring enough. Ew, honestly, give that doll back, thief. I don't exactly have a judgment, but I don't think it's fair to hold a natural disaster against your niece. She's a minor and obviously not thinking clearly. She didn't destroy them, an act of God did. You should perhaps be a bit more fair towards her. So far, I'm not seeing any responses from the OP, which I wish I was. And for our final comment, it comes in 2 parts, it looks like. Everybody sucks here. I have the privilege to never be anywhere in a natural disaster or a human one, i.e. war. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. In these cases, you take the essentials. Yes, sometimes people do take treasured moments. OP saying niece didn't care enough reads selfish and bullying-ish behavior. The niece was 6 then. You're the a-hole. The doll was meant for your niece. Of course your mother would leave a doll for your child, but sadly she passed before you even had a child. We're from Louisiana and Hurricane Laura hit. When we evacuated, I took the doll with me because I knew it was sentimental and irreplaceable. My niece, however, let all the remaining 5 dolls get ruined in Hurricane because she left them in the house where they got ruined. Did your niece have weather powers? No, she is a human child. You're holding a natural disaster against your niece, which is your brain trying to excuse yourself from guilt. Give her the doll back. If you haven't already, I suggest seeking grief counseling. Okay, that's a good suggestion. You know, this adult woman stealing, yes, as somebody else mentioned, stealing this doll from her niece is a problem to begin with, and then not giving the doll back. Yeah, she's got some work to do for sure. So let's talk about our snack. Okay, before I do give my final thoughts, we're gonna combine the two. Very good. You get kind of like a Lay's potato chip flavor with these ghost pepper ones, and then the nice Flamin' Hot flavor with the dill pickle from the Cheetos. Combined, they're quite delicious. But the only heat is coming from the Cheetos. So my overall ranking, the Cheetos, I'm gonna give a 8.5. I would absolutely buy these again. The ghost pepper potato chips, I give a 3 because they are not spicy in the least. However, I do like how crunchy they are with that lattice cut chip. I think that they taste good and they would go well with some really dip. They're quite sturdy, so they would do well with some good dip. So let me know if you've tried either of these and do you like spicy food? And I'd also like to know what you thought of today's stories, our family drama. What family drama do you have of your own? Comment below. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope you'll join me for the next one.